Solus is a Linux distribution that provides a multitude of experience to get out of your hardware. Its flagship is Budgie or solusbudgie, which is aimed for modern devices to a more traditional mate. So if you have an older machine, you can still very much install Solus Mate, um, which is actually aimed for low-end devices. Now, the goal of Solus, by the way, is to provide the best experience uh, for your device. So basically, Solus is aimed for everyone. May it be you have an older hardware or newer hardware, it doesn't matter. You can still very much install Solus based on its different flavors. Now, Solus is a distribution on its own. It's not based on any other Linux distro, which makes this distro quite unique. Although there are other Linux distros out there that is written from scratch similar to Solus, none of it seems to be quite as successful, making Solus ranks as the top 10 Linux as one of the top 10 Linux distribution, even though it's only several years old. So in terms of age, Solus is still quite young compared to maybe Ubuntu or Linux Mint. So what are the different flavors of Solus Linux? Currently, what I am showing you is Solus Budgie. Okay, but you can also select GNOME, Mate, and Plasma. Okay, depending upon your preference and also depending upon which hardware do you have or how old is your current hardware. So the one that I'm currently showing you, of course, is is Solus Budgie, which is a feature-rich desktop and is aimed for modern computers. Although I'm currently running it on my virtual machine, I've installed Solus Budgie with no problem whatsoever. Now let's talk about a little bit more about Budgie as a technology. So basically, Budgie is based on uh, GNOME, okay, uh, and GNOME technology. So and it still uses some of its apps like system settings, calendars, just to name a few. Now, come to think of it, one of the reasons that this is actually one of the reasons why people are attracted to Solus, the Budgie itself. Okay, as what you can see, Solus Budgie is quite beautiful in terms of looks and aesthetics. Now, the goal of Solus Budgie is easy customization from installation up until customization of your desktop via the setting app. It is a unified home for applets and notifications and has a lot of functionalities which is called Raven. Okay, so I'll be showing you how to use the settings app later. This enables the user to manage notifications, control media playback, control sound devices, and more. Okay, so let's just try to open first our this is actually its software center. Now we can find a range of applications here. Okay, but we'll talk about it later. Now, let's now try to look a little bit on the core of Solus, which is a manager and software center. So this is it. Actually, the software center of Solus. Solus has its own package manager, which is a port of Pardos Linux. And to be honest, I don't know Pardos Linux. I'll try to search for it later. What is Pardos Linux? And try to see it later. And also try to get back to you guys and what are some of my feedback as well as my recommendations when it comes to Pardos Linux. Another advantage of Solus, of course, is the software center, okay, which is this one. Which is quite fast. As you can see, even if I'm just running it on my virtual machine, it's not laggy compared to other Linux distribution. Other than the popular Linux applications, the Software Center also allows us to install third-party applications. So we can very much install, like for example, let's try to look at desktop and software theming. So these are the different applications that we can install on our Solus Budgie. So we have your IT desktop. Maybe I can try this later. IT desktop if it's possible. We can also try to theme. Okay. But I won't be doing any of those core customization. So this is more of just like a run through of what is solusbudgie. Office software. Okay, so we have ebook, office software, financial software. Okay. Then we also have here our third party, as what I've said. Okay, third party. So we can also install Android Studio. Let's try to look for something which can normally be found in Windows. Okay. So we have here IDEA, Intellij. So this one is actually used to develop Java applications, which can be installed in Solus in just a click of a button using its software center. We also have PyCharm. If you wanted to, if you're into coding Python scripts, you can also install it here. Okay, so you have both the community edition and the regular edition. Okay, Rider. Oh, we have here cross-platform .NET IDE based on IntelliJ platform in ReSharper. Okay, maybe we can try this later. Even Skype, it's also found here. Okay, so these are the different applications found on our software center, especially when we go to third party. So what makes it a unique distribution compared to others? Now, as what I've said, Budgie is based on GNOME technology, okay, and it uses some of that particular technology actually uses is used on some of its apps such as settings, calendar, just name a few. When we try to look at it, Budgie actually is one of the reasons why a lot of users are attracted to Solus. It's quite beautiful in terms of its desktop looks and aesthetics, as what I've also told you guys a while ago. There's also a dedicated setting to tweak your Budgie desktop, which I think is enough for 90% of the users. So you can also tweak Solus, although you can also tweak it at its core, but you can just for regular users you can actually tweak it using it's just its desktop. So or you can just basically tweak it just to make it based on your own preference. So we can maybe go to start menu, then let's try to look for it here, system settings, then we can change. Okay, let's try to look for it. Power software center. This is also where you can find software center applications. Okay, let's try to select background. So we can also tweak here. Let's say, for example, we wanted to change our desktop. Maybe we could have select this one. Okay. We can also click here to add picture. Okay. Can change the display. Currently, I'm running in a 1440 by 900. As if you've been following my blog, I've been using this particular resolution, especially if I'm running it on my virtual machine. Okay. Let's try to look at different default applications. So these are the different default applications. So for web, we use Firefox, for mail, Thunderbird, and so on. Okay. Applications. Let's try to go to applications. Advanced. Okay. Let's try to customize a little bit. Okay, we have here Budgie desktop settings. Or if we're having trouble locating it here, maybe what we can do is we can search for it here. Budgie. Okay, so we have here Budgie desktop settings. So we can actually change its looks for widgets, Plata Noir, icons, cursors. Okay, for the desktop, I can specify if you wanted to enable desktop icons, or we can actually select if you wanted to display mounted drives. Of course, we have home directory. We have this one. What else? We have a Raven. This is actually a Raven. So allow window racing. Raven, which is on the side of the screen. Set which is side of the screen Raven will open on. If set to automatic, Raven will open where its parent panel is. Okay, let's try maybe put it left. Let's try to look for it. Okay. Then of course we have window. Okay. So these are the different customizations that we can do regarding our uh, Solus Budgie. Um, I have no issues whatsoever when it comes to running Solus Budgie in a virtual environment compared to other Linux distribution, which can be a bit laggy or has a tendency to lag. Solus, on the other hand, runs quite smoothly. So its response time, although not as fast as compared to when you're going to install it on an actual machine, it's still quite responsive. It's still not laggy compared to other Linux distribution, which is actually quite heavy. Now, who I think is this technology for, or who can use this particular technology? Now, if you're a beginner and you're trying to look for something which is clean and straightforward, this particular OS is a top-notch uh, choice for you. Okay, this OS also offers hardware support and easy installation procedure. Okay, so there's no need for us to go through the terminal. Okay, since it has a Calamares installer, and also have tons of applications. So other than the ones that is installed on your machine, it also offers third-party applications which normally runs on Windows. Um, it doesn't have that much applications installed, but it has offered you applications that you can directly use. Okay, so let's say, like for example, if you're going to use Office, so you have the following Office applications already installed. So if you have sound and video, then you can already play sound and video. Okay. So what are its advantage and disadvantage in conclusion? So its advantage, of course, that Linux is quite good because it's a rolling distro. So you can actually search for it, guys. What does rolling distro means? It has a great package manager and a fast software center, as what you have seen. All commonly used open source and third-party applications are available. Budgie uh, allows you to have a unique experience of a modern desktop computer, and of course, it's quite fast, stable, and reliable. Now, what are some of its downfall? Because also, if there's an advantage, of course, there's also going to have a disadvantage. Some applications may not look that nice in Budgie. Okay, it's not a light Linux desktop. Um, of course, along with Budgie, or along with GNOME, it won't be that light. It can be also be quite heavy uh, in terms of the use of its resources. And of course, we have very limited default themes. Okay, so those are just some of the things that I have noticed when it comes to Solus Budgie. But if you wanted, you can use this distro as part of your daily grind, or if you wanted to use this distro, this is also one of the distro that I would recommend that you use um, on a daily basis. Okay, that's my 2 cents. You can use this distribution on your daily basis, or on a daily basis. Okay, so by the way, guys, before I forget, I would like to thank everyone who subscribed to my blog, to my channel. I mean, also I've added a link, and I'm also would like to thank you if you have subscribed to my blog in WordPress. Um, if you have any questions or clarifications, or if you want me to help you on other things, you can actually just message me. And if I can actually help you guys, then I'm very much open to help you guys. Thank you very much for everything.